SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, we are continuing with the earlier discussion, that is the market based instruments, and here we are talking about the role of subsidies, right. So, what we have discussed? We discussed what is the role of subsidies or how subsidies can be used as an instrument to internalize the externalities. Then in the earlier lectures we have already discussed how the taxes can also be used as an instrument to internalize the taxes. So, today we will be discussing a hybrid form of instrument, that is the combination of both the taxes and the subsidies, and how this new form of instruments can be a mechanism for regulating this pollution control, or you can say internalize the externalities, that we will be discussing. Okay. So, in this regard today we will be discussing a topic. As you understand, it is a mixture of tax and subsidy. So, that mechanism is known as the deposit refund systems, right. So, now we will be talking about what exactly is this deposit refund systems and how it is going to help in controlling the pollutions, right. So, as you understand, this deposit refund system is a combination of the tax and the subsidy, right. So, here tax is known as the deposits and this subsidy is known as the refund. That is why the name is deposit refund system. So, this if you take into account this mechanism, the very idea we can pick from the writings of Robert Solow in his 1970 article, and the writings of Edwin S. Mill. It was his article was published in 1972, and both these literatures, they are dealing with the idea of materials use fee, right, that how we can put a fee if some kind of use is there, which is known as the material use fee, right. So, based on this understanding that this is the theoretical underpinnings of this deposit refund systems, and we have this idea that we can also put the same. Okay. So, that is why these two ideas propounded by both Solow and Mills, it was seen to be an equivalent for this approach, deposit refundable approach, and generally this kind of practice is very encouraged in recycling the materials and recycling processes, right. And basically you can say that where you can apply this deposit refund system, where you can create this deposit refund system, what is the characteristics or what are the situations where you can put this system for controlling the emissions or the pollutions, right. So, we can say some of the characteristics must be available over there in a situation where, right, where a product is widely dispersed, right. So, when the product is purchased, it is widely dispersed. Maybe the product can be purchased in northern part of India or southern part or eastern or western. So, that means it is widely dispersed, it is purchased, and during its purchase it is widely dispersed. And obviously, after its use, it is very difficult to monitor, right, where it is used and what happened then, and it is that is why because of its geographical locations and special variable is assigned over there, that is why it is very difficult to monitor and detect that what kind of repercussions or harmful effects it is creating on the environment, right. So, in order to observe this environmental damage, that the said product is impacting, right. That is why we need to be careful about its disposal. Okay. So, given this situation, this deposit refund system can be helpful in recycling the product, and that is why the environmental impacts can be minimized. So, that is why the very objectives of subsidy is used here, right. So, what is the very objectives of the subsidy? To incentivize the people to refrain from disposing those harmful substances in the environment itself, right. So, here in this deposit refund systems, we are taking into account both these taxes and subsidy in order to incentivize the users, right, to refrain from disposing this kind of products which are purchased and used dispersely in a very large scale of geographical locations. Okay. So, we can take some example that when a subsidy is paid to a particular consumer, then obviously it will be serving as an incentives, right. And here these consumers will be incentivized to return the product, right, or the particular substances or particular item to a designated collection point, right. So, here suppose say you have purchased something, it is new branded. So, after its use you must know where the collection points are there, where you can put the garbage over, right. And during once you are putting your junk after the use of this particular material in this collection point, then you will be getting some subsidy or money back. Okay. So, that is why this system is a kind of incentive for the consumers to return their garbage or return their junk of what is produced out of their newly used materials, and they can deposit the same in a designated collection point. Okay. And basically if you are talking about some sectors, right, then we will be finding that it is very difficult to manage and monitor this kind of polluting activities. So, for a regulator it is becoming a very difficult challenge that how to monitor this kind of activities, right. So, for example, you can take into account dumping of waste, right, dumping of waste into the sea, into the deep of the sea, right. And generally we are finding these shipping companies, they do dump waste in the deep of the seas and no one is there to monitor, and even though there is some regulating authority to monitor this, but it is a very challenging and difficult job, right. It is very difficult to see which part in which part of the sea a particular shipping company has dumped some waste. So, in order to avoid this kind of difficulty, this refund subsidy mechanism can help the consumers to get some incentive, and that is why they can actually refund or return their waste in a particular designated collection points, right. So, in this case what will happen, the potential offenders, those who are going to the safe and or the shipping companies, they are required to leave an appropriate deposit, right, with the regulatory body or the environmental authorities, right. And therefore, this deposit refund system, it can be used by the consumers, right, and the consumers will be getting incentive to return back the used materials, let us say containers or bottles or packaging items or any of the products and the residues once it is used, right. It can be collected, it can be deposited to a designated pool, right. So, therefore, this DRS system is requiring that we need to pay a deposit or the consumers whosoever using this particular item, particular product, he is required to pay a deposit on the purchase of those items which are having potential polluting impacts or polluting effects, right. And then this payment or this deposit is refunded when the products or their residues, they are returned for recycling or disposal centers, right. So, this is how you can say that the merit of this system lies that it is giving incentives. Which incentives? So, it is a kind of financial incentives for the users, right. They will be interested to return these products or the residues or the waste back to the retailers or the producers for recycling or reuse or disposing at a proper place where further treatment can happen, right. So, some of the other examples that we can take into account when we are talking about the examples, we are finding this DRS system all through the globe, right. So, it is not that this system is having its application for a particular sector, but across sectors and throughout the globe itself, right. We can find the examples in the United States itself, and we are finding for individual states, some of the individual states in the United States itself, they have enacted this deposit refund system for the sector beverage sectors, right. So, in beverage sectors, in order to reduce the litter, so just like your bottle or packaging, they this DRS system has been initiated and it is promoting the recycling itself, right. And the similar practice, it is also been followed in European countries. And if you are talking about the Germany especially, it has a well defined DRS system, deposit report system, refund system, and it is applicable for the waste lubricating oil case, right. So, what happens, every year a large quantities of the waste, they are disposed improperly into the environment, and when this oil are disposed, this waste oil, they are disposed, obviously it is threatening the very environment, including the biodiversity, including the air, water and the soil itself, right. So, therefore, this when you are purchasing this lubricating new lubricating oil, so you are facing a tax over there. So, this is a deposit, okay. And this deposit, when it is taxed, it is in a form of deposit, and this deposit is channelized into a special fund, right. And then you will be wondering about how this fund, what is the use of this fund, how this collected amount is utilized. So, this fund now it can be used as a subsidizing the waste oil recovery. So, when you are recovering the waste oil or you are processing the waste oil, right, in a particular systems, then you can get this subsidy, right, that you are recycling the particular waste amount, okay. And not only that, this DRS has also been followed in case of cars, purchasing cars, new cars in Sweden as well as Norway. And you can know that who are the polluting countries and who are less polluting countries in the European continent itself. Then you can find that the things will be clear, that how the legal system can also be an important mechanism to reduce the cases of pollutions itself, right. So, here we are talking about two countries, the Sweden and Norway, and here DRS system is also there for newly purchased cars in these two countries. So, when you are buying a new car in any of these countries, you need to pay a deposit or tax, right, at the time of purchase. and this deposit you can get it refund, right. You can get it back if these used cars or the cars after your use after a particular point of time, if you are sending to a particular authorized junk dealer, then you can get this amount of refund, right, and you can get it back. So, when the see the kind of cycle for this fund. So, here during the purchase of this new car, you are paying this amount, right, and after just say that you use this car for 5 years, right. After 5 years you are no more you are not going to use it anymore. So, what you are doing, it has become a kind of junk, right. So, what you are doing, you are selling this or depositing this junk to an authorized dealer, right. So, if you are depositing this to an authorized dealer here, after a point of time, after the life of the car or after the use of your car, then you can get this money, whatever the money you have deposited here during the purchase, you can get it back. Okay. So, that means again it is a kind of incentives, right. So, now the user of the car, they will be getting some incentive that yes, the financial gain is there, then we need to be careful instead of disposing this old used car here and there that are having potential threats to environment. It can be deposited to a particular authorized dealer, and if you are doing so, you can get the refund the deposit money back, right. And similarly, this deposit refund system has a wider application. It can be applicable for consumer products which are having these hazardous substances. Okay. So, we can take into account the waste management, like your batteries we are using in our mobile phones or your laptops or some electronic gadgets even, right. So, these batteries, they are containing some hazardous substances. Okay. So, when the kind of deposit or tax is imposed on these items during its purchase, then when you are again depositing or you are actually giving to some authorized dealer of these batteries or laptops or electronic gadgets after its life, then you can get this money back, right. So, it is a kind of incentives for the users, and in that way it is going to create less pollutions, okay, or control the pollutions. So, now from these examples we can be clear that how we are generating this deposit or how to generate this refund itself. So, we are saying that, so the thing is that you are asking, because when you are saying we need to pay some money back, that is the deposited money they have given in terms of tax. So, it will be a very large amount funds are required. So, that is why the question is that how to generate this fund, so that you can pay the users the subsidy. So, this refund can be voluntary and sometimes it can be mandated by these legislations. So, it is compulsory. So, it can be voluntary, right, it can be made compulsory through the legislation itself, right. And the funds which are used for paying this subsidy, right, they are raised by the taxes itself when they are purchased, that we discussed about through different examples. And here the very purpose of this tax is to generate the money for paying back in terms of subsidy itself, right. See the very objectives of these systems. So, by doing this kind of process or exercise, this DRS system is not targeting to reduce the consumption of those goods or those services or those materials. Rather, it is going to control or reduce the pollution itself, right. So, Example we have already taken deposit refund system for beverage containers in the some states in the United States, and they are targeting to reduce the litter and encourage the recycling. That is why this DRS system has been initiated in the beverage sectors. Okay. And moreover, we can find from many observation, we can find some very features that how this deposit return refund system be successful, right. So that it can be this process of subsidizing can be sustainable. Okay. It can, this process can be repeated without depending some other sources for finance. So, from the observation we find that if the deposit return is higher than the deposit amount, right. So, the deposit return is higher than the deposit amount during the purchase, right. Then this increases the very incentives of the users to return the particular item, and it also reduces the consumer's resistance to this DRS scheme. Sometimes the consumers, they also resist that why to pay right now, because it is brand new and we do not know whether we will be able to deposit or use the particular material for its life till the completion of the lives, and maybe we can, it is termed as second hand sales. So, sometimes the situation forces. So, in this case the consumers will be resisting that this system is not actually friendly for consumers, right. But when you are finding this deposit return amount, it is greater than, it is higher than the deposit that the consumers have made during the purchase, then this will be acting as an increase in incentives to return the particular item after use, and it is also going to reduce the consumers resistance towards this scheme, right. So, for this particular system, market based instrument deposit reports refund system, which is a combination of tax and subsidy, you can follow chapter 12 of this book, Environmental Economics and an introduction, right. So, in the next class we will be talking about the other market based instruments for controlling the environmental pollutions or reducing the pollutions. So, they are the liability and the emission trade. So, these two mechanisms are left that we are going to discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.